Ms. Clemens?
Here.
Mr. Harding? Mr. Hendon?
Here.
Mr. Olson?
Here.
Ms. Redden?
Here.
Mr. Harding? Okay, Mr. Harding?
Just coming on. Chris, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we're doing roll call, so we've got you. All right, thank you.
Perfect.
All right, welcome everyone. I am Karen Clemens, the Board of Trustees President. We have one public comment. Paula, do you want me to, I can read it.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so the topic is the collaboration with the Cincinnati Boys Choir. On Saturday, April 9th, the Cincinnati, in collaboration with Learning Through Art Incorporated, Revolution Dance, and author Ashley Aya Ferguson presented Brilliant Rhythm at the Pleasant Ridge and Price Hill branches. Beth Yoke was my initial contact at the library, and she quickly and skillfully set the project in motion, working with Jennifer and Sandra in Pleasant Ridge and Price Hill. Michael at Price Hill and branch managers at both Pleasant Ridge and Price Hill were so easy to work with and accommodated our every need, even those that were surprises to us all. I can't wait for the next project. The Cincinnati Boy Choir is able to continue its tradition of excellent artistry and meaningful community engagement because of partners like Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library. Always great to get comments like that.
Okay, Karen, do you want me to go ahead and do my report? It's the first one on the agenda there.
Yes. Paula, you can go ahead and give your report. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Starting off with the Greater Cincinnati Chinese Cultural Exchange Association Honor. The association is going to honor our library with their Community Leadership Award, which recognizes leadership and impact, as well as trust in the GCCEA at an event on Friday, April 22nd. The recognition is for partnering with the GCCEA on activities such as the Chinese Railroad Workers Photo Exhibit, and a series of 2021 Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month events at branches. So we're thrilled to have that opportunity. Looking forward to that. Also wanted to note Hamilton County's Imagination Library Millionth Book Celebration. On May 17th, we will join our partners and friends for Hamilton County's Imagination Library 1 millionth book celebration and press conference, going to be at our new Deer Park branch. The event will feature a visit from First Lady Fran DeWine, along with representatives from Children's Hospital and library directors and staff from surrounding public libraries, including Claremont, Greene, and Clinton counties. In honor of First Lady DeWine's ongoing advocacy and support for Ohio's Imagination Library, we are offering a resolution in her honor today, and at the end of my report, Board President Clemens will read that. Hamilton County Pay Equity Commitment. The Hamilton County Pay Equity Commitment is a voluntary employer-led initiative to close the gender and race-based wage gap here in Hamilton County. The pledge, which focuses on promoting innovation to address gender and race-based inequities, is an initiative of the Hamilton County Commission on Women and Girls. We will be joining several other businesses, nonprofits, and government agencies in signing this commitment at the signing ceremony, which will actually take place on April 20th at 3:30 here at our main library. The commitment is for our organization to join others across the county in learning about the economic impact of pay inequity, analyzing how hiring, promotional, and pay practices may lead to gender and racial disparities, consider opportunities for addressing disparities, and sharing best practices and successes with organizations. The whole information packet from the county is actually attached as Appendix 2 to my report. Also of note, we did let them know that we were under construction, so Jeff from Molly's team, who you all know, has assured me that while the coolers, the chillers will be shut down, they're going to have them up and ready by Wednesday afternoon. So we are using that just to make sure that everyone across the county also knows all the great work we're doing right now on our FMP at our main library. Also wanted to give everyone an update about legislative activity. The Ohio Library Council's annual Ledge Day returned this year in person. It was last Wednesday. 200 library advocates from across the state held meetings and discussions in Columbus with state representatives and senators. First Lady Fran DeWine was there, and she offered a special welcome to OLC Ledge Day attendees. And OLC actually recognized Mrs. DeWine for her commitment to Ohio's Imagination Library, which we talked about earlier. Senate President Pro Tem Jay Hottinger was presented with the OLC's Andrew Carnegie Award for his work in supporting the public library funding in the last state budget. We want to make sure that we thank the many legislators from our local delegation who took time out of their busy schedules to meet with us. We talked with Representative Cindy Abrams, Tom Brinkman, Cedric Denson, Catherine Ingram, Bridget Kelly, Jessica Miranda, and also had that chance to talk with Senators Louis Blessing and Steve Wilson. Staff gave state legislators a packet of information and asked what the library can do to support their offices and priorities. We'll be also hosting a legislative breakfast with state legislators on May 9th at the Deer Park Branch Library. We're making great use of the new Deer Park Library, as you can tell. Of additional note, in the government area, at this time, the Ohio House Bill HB 327, the Divisive Concepts Bill, is not on the House, State, and Local Government Committee agenda for a hearing. The OLC continues to monitor this legislation, which, as currently written, includes public libraries as part of the bill language. And on the federal level, the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Reform held congressional hearings on speech, book bans, and academic censorship on April 7th. I want to note we had our State of the Library and Year in Review videos out there. Our annual update for the public is now available. It's a recently released video on our website. I do want to thank Board President Karen Clemens for providing an introduction to it's about a 20-minute look forward to what we're going to be doing in 2022, the many exciting activities and projects we have planned. And for information about 2021 highlights and successes, we do have that 2021 Year in Review video as well. Just a quick note, because we are starting to see a lot more activity around conferences and presentations. Our staff have really been busy sharing information with and learning from our colleagues over the past few months. Several folks attended the Public Library Association conference in mid-March. In mid-April, a number of management and administrative staff will head to the Cleveland area to meet with staff from the Cleveland Public Library and tour facilities in Cleveland and Cuyahoga County. On March 17th, I spoke on a panel with several public library directors from Southwest Ohio and Northern Kentucky at the annual Kentucky Library Association conference. The topic of that panel was what it means to be a public servant in the 21st century. This same presentation has been accepted for September's OLC Convention and Expo. On April 20th, I'll have the opportunity to speak to Indiana University class of MLIS graduate students on the topic of library management. And on May 20th, I will be part of a speed mentoring panel discussion at the Ohio Library Council Library Management and Leadership Conference, a conference which actually will be kicked off by Cincinnati Mayor Aftab Purval and Mason. Additionally, I was honored to be invited by the Hamilton County Development and Disability Services to participate in an interview for their March edition of My Life magazine. Finally, I think everybody is aware of this one, but just a note, we are having our annual staff recognition event, and it will be in person thanks to the commitment and dedication of our staff recognition team. We're really excited to announce that that celebration is back on Sunday, May 22nd. From 5:30 to 8, we will celebrate and recognize staff at the Colby Center. And before we end my report, I'm heading on down here, Karen, to that resolution for Fran DeWine, if you would be willing to read that into the record for us.
Thanks, Paula. Fran DeWine established the Ohio Governor's Imagination Library in 2019 in partnership with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library in order to send a free book every month to Ohio children from birth to age 5. And whereas Ms. DeWine partnered with Ohio's Public Libraries and other community organizations to expand the Ohio Governor's Imagination Library to all 88 counties in Ohio, and whereas Mrs. DeWine was instrumental in enrolling more than 309,000 children into the program, including 26,486 of children in Hamilton County. And whereas Mrs. DeWine ensured all children between birth and age 5, regardless of where they live in Ohio, are eligible to be enrolled in the Ohio Governor's Imagination Library. And whereas Mrs. DeWine continues to recognize the value of public libraries and the role they play in supporting early childhood education. And further, that Mrs. DeWine shares our library's goal of ensuring every child experiences the joy of reading and enters kindergarten prepared for success. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this 12th day of April, 2022, the Board of Trustees of the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library formally commends and gratefully acknowledges Ohio First Lady Fran DeWine for her lasting contributions to early childhood literacy in our community and across the state.
Thank you, Ms. Clemens. That ends my report. Oh, and I need a motion, I'm sorry.
Motion in a second.
And motion and a second to accept that resolution.
I'll make a motion. It's Diane.
Second.
Great. Was that Chris that seconded or was that Greg?
Yeah, that was Chris.
Okay, thank you.
And Ms. Allen?
Aye, yes.
Okay. Ms. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Redden, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we will ask Mr. Hendon to please present the Facilities, Finance, and Audit Committee report.
All right. The Facilities and Finance and Audit Committee met virtually on March 30th, 2022. Committee Chair Robert Hendon, committee members Nadine Allen and Greg Olson, and Board President Karen Clemens were in attendance. Staff members Paula Bremheger and Molly DeFossi were all in attendance. It is recommended of the committee that the board take the following action on the 2023 budget. Molly,
Yep,
you want to go through the budget, the financial stuff?
yep, I will. The Hamilton County Budget Commission has allowed the library to file modified tax budgets since fiscal year 2005 with the understanding that ongoing approval is subject to annual review. A request to submit a modified 2023 budget was submitted to the Budget Commission on February 28, 2022. The library is required to submit its annual budget to Hamilton County by May 31st, 2022. The proposed 2023 operating budget balances current funding expectations, current operating costs, and capital project plans. The capital budget has been constructed on the basis of need. That is what's needed to fund top priorities for capital building and improvement project as identified in the facility master plan. The 2023 appropriations that are presented at the December 2022 board meeting will be based on the actual anticipated revenue and operations as of that time. So to approve the 2023 operating budget and capital budget as follows, the proposed general fund operating budget of $70,115,000 is approximately 5% greater than the original 2022 appropriations. This includes allowances for increases to salary costs for the anticipated increase in operating costs related to opening several new branches, potential outcomes of the compensation review, and annual merit increases. The budget also accounts for slight increases in other categories of expenditure in support of the strategic plan of the library. There's a table there that represents the budget, the public library fund, the local tax levy as the sources with additional revenue, and then the operating expenditure and the transfer out. The capital budget includes the remaining anticipated projects identified by the facility master plan released in January 2020 for projects between 2023 and 2028. Those projects are identified there for a total of $67,166,940. The contingency reserves, or the budget reserves two contingencies, $1.75 million operating budget, which is approximately 3% in the general fund, and $2 million capital contingency in the building and repair fund. The general fund expects to end 2022 with approximately $22.5 million of available funding. To fund the 2023 budget, the library will need intergovernmental revenue of almost $110 million. The source of that revenue is the public library fund and local property taxes. For budget purposes, property tax receipts for 2023 are estimated at $38,266,218, which is approximately the amount expected for 2022. The balance of the intergovernmental revenue, $71,300,000, is being requested from the PLF. You want me to keep going or you want to take it?
I can take a revision of the 2022 estimated resources and annual appropriations. Gift fund. Last year, the foundation received contributions in honor of Scott Ludicky to purchase library materials. The current appropriation is not sufficient to account for the planned spending as 2022. Requesting authorization to increase the gift fund library materials appropriations to account for this additional spending. Now I need to approve the following revision to the 22 annual appropriations. Gift fund revision expenses, library materials increased by 10,000, increase in expenses 10,000. Branch 2022 and 27 branch replacements, renovation, construction manager at risk. We received several statements of qualifications from 4 firms: Conger Construction Company, IAP Design Build, Megan Construction Company, Turner Construction Company. If reviewing by the committee and considering the benefit of having sufficient time for the interview portion of the process, Conger Construction Company, Megan Construction Company Incorporated, and Turner Construction Company were invited to submit a request for proposal and to participate in interviews in April 1, 2022. In addition to interviews, the Construction Manager at Risk Evaluation Committee reviewed the submitted proposals for technical qualifications, fixed fee, pre-construction pricing. The committee considered each firm's approach to the pre-construction process and subcontractor and supplier resources given the current supply chain and labor market. The approach to the pre-construction process and development of GMP, including detailed scope reviews with bidders, should result in a project design completed on budget and on time, in which will result in less oversight by library staff, the management requests for information and interpretation of intent. Renovation projects all include some constructability challenges and is critical to have an approach that most effectively manages the anticipated issues. Based on these considerations, the selection committee recommended the following: authorize Eva Jane Remain, director, to enter into a contract with Turner Construction, the firm most qualified for construction manager at risk in 2022 through 2027, branch replacements and renovations project. The ranking of 3 firms as follows. Number 1 is Turner Construction, 2 is Megan, number 3 is Conger. Now, Price Hill Parklet. On March 4th, 2022, rebids for the Price Hill Parklet, the front lawn of the Price Hill branch were received. The estimate for the project was $341,200. Library received 2 bids ranging from $357,000 to $431,000. The unqualified bidder, who was the lowest responsible bidder, was Delta LLC. We need to approve Price Hill Parklet project budget, including the approximate 10% contingency as follows. Authorize Eva Jane Remain, director, to approve change orders that do not increase the overall budget. Execute a certificate of substantial completion. Now, the contractor at Delta is $357,000. Owner cost, design fees, permit and supplies, $80,000. A contingency of $40,000 for a total of $477,000. All change orders for the contractor will be reported to the board for confirmation. The Walnut Hills branch accessibility, the interior mason work is almost complete. The interior finish work continues. Authorize the consideration of change equal size parcels with group model that would provide model group with a piece of property between our 2 lots and would provide the library dedicated parking at or near grade close to the south entrance. Confirm the following change orders have been approved for Megan Construction for $23,544.86. Forest Park Branch Property Exchange, confirm the attached property exchange agreement Exhibit 1 approved by the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office based on the letter of intent that was approved at the December 14th, 2021 board meeting, and authorize Eva Jane Remain, director, to execute any necessary agreements or documents as part of the closing after completion of the due diligence on both properties by all parties. Hyde Park branch easement and parking lot improvement. Progress of redevelopment plans for the property to the west of the branch continues. Demolition of the building is expected later this spring. As previously noted, the new owner, Falling Leaves LLC, has requested 2 easements to access a sewer line in their property's rear parking lot. We would like to approve the attached easements, Exhibit 2, which has been reviewed by the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office on a conditional basis. Library staff will remove the condition once we have approved memo from understanding regarding the work to be performed by Falling Leaves LLC for the lot improvements. With the redevelopment of property next to the library, we have a unique opportunity to raise the elevation of rear lot to a point where an accessible ramp will no longer be necessary. In addition, there's an opportunity to expand the parking surface to increase the number of parking spaces by 12. New lot will also improve traffic flow. Overall, the updated sewer connection and lot improvements will alleviate long-standing drainage problems of the lot. Authorize seeking the necessary variances from the county and grading easements from neighboring adjacent properties in order to implement potential entry improvements. Main library project update. The skylight installation is complete and Turner will begin dismantling the scaffolding soon. The elevator replacement work is ongoing. Completion date is modified to July 15th, 2022 to complete additional detail items. North Plaza work is also complete with the exception of the wall along Prior Alley, which is expected in June 2022. Library is evaluating modification on one of the bump outs to install new entry doors with a proper vestibule in North Plaza. We're planning to use the current available budget to complete the doors. Flying change order modified skylight GMP for Turner Construction has been approved and submitted for confirmation. Confirm the flying change orders modified skylight GMP for Turner Construction have been approved. There's a deduct and add and additional fire painting and so forth. You can see that in the report. Confirm the flying change orders modified the LR GMP for Turner Construction. They have been approved. Deduct for wall graphics, 17,000, additional elevator cooling room, 39,000. Confirm the following change orders, modified the North Plaza GMP for Turner Construction. They have been approved. Additional architectural detail after bidding, 40,000. Turner Construction drawing clarification, 3,197. Expect GMP for the social stair guardrails and tier rows. Renovation will be presented at the June 22nd board meeting for information. Now, we go into for information. I need a recommendation that we accept these change orders and items. I so move.
Okay.
Diane,
Second,
Aye.
okay, Ms. Allen,
Aye.
Ms.
Tucker.
Clements,
Aye.
Tucker.
Mr. Harding. Mr. Harding,
Yes.
Mr. Hendon,
Yes.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Ms. Redden.
yes.
Thank you.
Now we move in for information only. The Madisonville branch accessibility construction began on the build out of leased space. We have faced several conditional challenges with the landlord's contractor. The library and Megan Construction are working with Ackerman landlord to resolve the issues in a timely manner in effort to stay on schedule. Forest Park branch replacement, the design process started in mid-March. The library has engaged with Group 4 to provide consultation with design decisions for a first standalone next-gen library. Design is expected to continue until late fall 2022, with plans of a GMP and construction commencement in early of 2023. New project opportunities. Work continues on the facility master plan. Several community partners have inquired about opportunities near them. Had a recent meeting regarding long-term project plans in the West End and plan to meet with representatives from Norwood later this spring. Lawn Hills branch accessibility. The brick is being installed and the exterior and the interior work is ongoing. Project remains on schedule. Price Hill branch accessibility. We're still working on the final closeout documentation and a few remaining punch list items. As previously reported, the library has named in a claim filed by Imbus Roofing on Jostin Construction. Recently, this claim has been stayed due to agreed upon arbitration by the two parties. Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office continues to monitor the case on behalf of the library. Now, the energy retrofit project, the final contract payments have been made to Geiler Company. Hamilton County Prosecutor Attorney's Office continues to monitor a claim Geiler has made against the library, and that concludes my report. Is there any questions?
All right.
Karen?
Oh, do I need to- Sorry,
No, Karen, you're right. We're good. Yeah.
we're good? Okay. So I'll turn things over to Judge Allen for the HR Committee Chair report.
Yes, greetings, everyone. I would like to ask, is Kyla Hardin present? Or can you, I would like for her to read the report. I'm having a technical difficulty, but I am present and I have reviewed it. And Kyle, if you would so read that, please. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. This is the Human Resources Report. New policy and policy updates. A goal for 2022 is to review and revise outdated policies in an effort to ensure that they are clear, concise, and reflect the current practices of the library. We request approval for the attached policy updates and changes. The revised policies are attached as follows. Drug screen policy. The proposed policy is in Exhibit A. The current policy is in Exhibit B. The drug-free workplace policy. The proposed policy is in Exhibit C. And the current policy is in Exhibit D. So with the drug screen policy, to align with the current practice of the library and ADA requirements, it is recommended that pre-employment testing for alcohol be removed from this policy. It is also recommended that the policy be revised to state that pre-employment drug testing is required for positions that require driving as a course of the work, so for safety-sensitive positions, rather than for all positions. This change reflects fiscal responsibility and aligns pre-employment testing with the duties and responsibilities of the position. The proposed policy is outlined in Exhibit A and is recommended for approval. The drug-free workplace policy. It is recommended that the drug-free workplace policy be revised to reflect the change to pre-employment drug screening that is proposed in the drug screen policy mentioned before. The proposed policy is outlined in Exhibit C and is recommended for approval.
All right, I want to ask for a motion to accept the drug screen policy and drug-free workplace policy updates.
I so move.
Diane second. Diane
Ms.
second.
Allen? Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Clements?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes.
Right, I'll turn things back over to you, Kyla.
Thank you, Ms. Clemens. And this is our informational portion of the HR report. The National Library Workers Day, April 5th, was National Library Workers Day, where we celebrate and recognize all library workers. This is a day that communities across the country recognize valuable contributions made by library staff. National Library Workers Day honors our staff for their commitment to serve with excellence. This year, the staff morale team sponsored fun virtual activities through the week, encouraging staff to connect with each other and take part in the celebration. Senior leadership also created themed baskets to raffle off to staff during each hour on National Library Workers Day, which was a lot of fun. The Arts Wave campaign, the library's Arts Wave campaign, our annual community campaign, ended on March 14th. We are thankful to staff who contributed a total of $2,559 during this year's campaign. And the rest of the report are the proposed policies and current policies, as mentioned before. That concludes the HR report.
Right,
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks,
Ms. Hardin. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, Kyla. All right, so I will turn it over to Ms. Redding for the Operations Committee Chair report.
Thank
I'm
you, Ms.
sorry,
Clements.
the operations report.
Thank you, Ms. Clements. This report, the Operations Committee met on March 30, 2022. Committee Chair, myself, Diane Cunningham-Redden, Committee Member Robert Hendon and Monica Conan were in attendance, along with Board President Karen Clemens, staff members Paula Bremheger, Brett Bonfield, and Patricia Spate were also in attendance. Book purchases, customer questions, and card types. As noted in a March 14, 2022 Library Journal article, public libraries face escalating book challenges. Book challenges are not new. There have always been library customers who disagreed with ideas that are communicated in books and library resources. Some customers seek to have books they dislike removed from public library collections. What has been on the rise recently, according to the Library Journal article, as well as several articles in major media outlets, are the scope and tactics of these challenges. Our library has long had a collection department policy in place which guides our purchasing decisions. We also offer users the opportunity via an established procedure to ask for us to review particular items if they have concerns. And we offer customers several choices of library cards to fit the needs of individuals and families. Brett Bonfield, Chief Operating Officer, and Patricia Spate, Material Selection and Acquisition Manager, provided an overview of this information to the Operations Committee. So for those that were not in the committee, I'm ad-libbing a little bit from the report, but some of the library cards are age restricted. There's children, there's teen. To get any book that is not appropriate to that level of a card requires parental approval at the library. So a kid just can't come in with, let's say, a parent's card and check out a non-age appropriate book. We do have a policy in place. Then we have the OCRC claim in Adam Conway versus the Harrison branch of the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library. The Ohio Civil Rights Commission determined that it is not probable that any discriminatory action took place and dismissed the charges. The library worked with the Hamilton County Prosecuting Attorney's Office in filing its response. Next up, we have featured manager Lisa Hamrick from Green Township. Lisa started her work with the library as a summer helper, spending 6 summers as a temporary employee. Since that beginning, she has worked almost 30 years at the library. Through her many jobs with us, she has maintained a strong customer service focus, worked to support children, and helped in planning projects. She was children's librarian at the original Groesbeck building during the time that the building was torn down and then rebuilt, resulting in 2 large moves. She managed the Children's Learning Center at the main library, helping to establish an early literacy focus for young programs. As the manager at the Clifton branch, she developed a unique neighborhood architectural walking tour that highlighted the community's homes and the Boss Cox mansion that now serves as the Clifton Branch Library. In addition to developing staff throughout her career, she has been a regular presenter at local, state, and national conferences. Her recent major project has been getting the Green Township branch ready for a building refresh. Today, she will share details on her efforts to prepare the staff and the community for the exciting changes that are on the horizon. Lisa?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the introduction. There have been high-profile branch upgrade reveals, Price Hill, Anderson, and most recently, Deer Park. Today, I get to share a little about what we're doing at Green Township to make the journey from the familiar to the refreshed one the customers understand and enjoy. This process has been ongoing for 1.5 years. The first thing we did was look at the branch through a customer services lens. There are definite reasons Green Township needs a refresh. Then we listened to what the customers loved about the branch. It was no surprise to hear they love the unique look of the branch, the friendly staff, and all the help they get when they are here using our services. All last year, we planned, sorted, worked with the design team, and developed new processes as the new layout was finalized. Most recently, we brought out the samples to give customers a sneak peek of what they can expect to see after the refresh. We also shared the reimagined and thoughtful new layout. This display was designed to get our customers to share their opinions with us, and they didn't disappoint us. Some shared concerns about how we would maintain services during the upgrade. Would they be able to pick up their holds and where? Others wanted to know if the new arrangement will be helpful for them personally. Are you getting rid of my favorite chair? We are now working hard to answer these questions and many others so that after the refresh, our customers can be assured that their favorite chair is still available. And so we can share with them benefits from the refresh that they might not have thought about. It can be hard walking into a familiar place that doesn't look quite so familiar anymore. Just think about the last time your grocery store changed its layout. After the refresh, our team will be there to guide customers to new locations while also pointing out new conveniences. And as we walk, we'll be able to explain how we listen to community requests in our planning, how our organizational values help guide the process, and the result is a branch that meets the needs of our unique and individual customers. This quote, I believe, explains our refresh preparation philosophy. We can't cross that bridge until we come to it, but I always like to lay down a pontoon ahead of time. I think after all of our work, we didn't just lay down one pontoon, we built an entire armada of pontoons to use when we welcome customers back to the reimagined, re-energized, and refreshed Green Township Branch Library. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Karen, back to you.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Diane. Next, we will go to Mr. Harding for the strategy report.
All right. The planning process is now underway, and we are currently engaged in the following activities as part of phase 1 of this effort. Conducting an environmental scan to inform the project, interviewing 12 stakeholders, convening a meeting at the library's Reformed Community Advisory Council on April 12th, and developing a survey to collect staff feedback. The process is being led by consulting firm Whole Mind Strategies Group. The consultant working with us is Eric Mead. Eric has led or contributed to strategic projects for the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the Open Government Partnership, the Department of Interior, the National Association of Community Health Centers, the Society of Behavioral Medicine, and many others. He is also the author of 2 books and has served on the board of directors of Counterpart International, a global development NGO, and as chairman of the board of the World Future Society, which is the oldest and largest membership organization dedicated to the systemic study of the future. And with that, I will turn it over to Eric for our presentation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Mead, and as Mr. Harding said, I'll be facilitating this process, and the bullet points in that report offered a quick peek at the process that we're following. We've already kicked it off. We had a kickoff a few weeks ago with Paula and Beth and got things going. We have already conducted most of those interviews that were mentioned. That's with some staff, some internal, external stakeholders. So there are a few more that I'm still working to schedule, and but that's underway, and that's been really informative and started to frame what the key strategic questions will be in this process. Then this morning, Beth and her colleague David in civic engagement and I, with Paula stopping by as well to welcome folks, we hosted a Community Advisory Council meeting to convene that group, and they will continue to play a role in the process as it goes forward, as I'll describe. We're moving toward a 2-day, or really a day and a half meeting in mid-May, which will be the focus of the generative strategic planning work. If you think of strategic planning as a funnel, there's the top part of the funnel, which is open and let's get lots of input. And then there's a process of moving toward the bottom of the funnel where you're making those strategic decisions. So that community advisory council, as well as a staff survey and the interviews and some other opportunities for engagement along the way with staff more generally, that's where we're getting the input in that top part of the funnel. And then that day and a half workshop in May, the first half day, that afternoon of the 18th, we'll have broader engagement outside staff. So the community advisory council will be there to help foster that creative thinking and let the staff hear directly from the community of what they see as really powerful and huge opportunities going forward, and what issues they're seeing that could be addressed. And then the second day of that is really just going deep into what are the decisions we need to make and strategically, so that then coming out of that, staff can work in a few sessions to refine those outputs, draft it into a plan that then goes to various people, the senior leadership team, the community advisory council, and the strategy committee of the board of trustees for feedback. That can be put in there as well, any changes that need to be made. And the goal, as you see, is to have the plan to the board for approval in October. So that's the overall process, from generating ideas and input, making those focused decisions, working out the details, and having a plan for you all to review and offer feedback and hopefully approve in October.
Thank you, Eric. So moving on to the rest of my presentation.
Hello, Ms. Nadine Allen. I just want to tell Eric that I look forward to meeting with you.
I do as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And I will say to the rest of the board, I had a brief meeting with Eric last week, and I'm very excited about what he brings to the table in this work ahead. So really looking forward to the board's engagement in this process as we go forward. With that, I'll go back to my presentation. So going back to civic engagement, just a reminder, our website was updated to inform customers of issues and deadlines for the May 3rd primary election. And our marketing team sent out an email blast to cardholders reminding them to register to vote with links to voter resources. In the public health sector, we received another round of free at-home COVID-19 test kits from the state in late March. We continued our partnership with Hamilton County Public Health to provide free rapid and PCR COVID-19 testing at Quarryville and Price Hill, with the start date to be determined by Hamilton County Public Health. We are also planning health insurance enrollment workshops in May in partnership with Spiro Health, Health Source of Ohio, and Get Covered Ohio, which is a statewide initiative to provide free and expanded health insurance navigator services to connect community members with marketplace insurance. We also continue to host the quick response team of the Hamilton County Addiction Response Council at the Downtown Main Library, Norwood, and Price Hill. The quick response team shares hygiene kits and harm reduction supplies, along with information on recovery services. In our customer experience, also known as CX, it is the overall perception that customers have of their intersection with an organization, and managing that perception at every aspect of the customer journey is the work of customer experience. The customer journey includes 5 stages: awareness, access, action, acknowledgement, and advocacy. And building off the customer experience framework rolled out to staff earlier this year, a customer experience project team will be put together this month to begin the work of engaging staff and customers to develop a fuller customer experience model. To ground this work, we will look at our new customer experience philosophy, which is: we are a community-first organization for minds of all kinds, cultivating an environment that encourages boundless curiosity through individual and communities of all kinds, learning and growing together. The philosophy that permeates through our staff, our spaces, and our services is: you belong here. Lifelong Learning and Adult Learning Center. On March, over 5,427 customers completed our third annual Winter Checkout Challenge by starting off this year using library resources to learn something new. Looking ahead, here are some select events that other board members might be interested in with our youth programs and services. Discover Summer, which kicks off on June 1st. Kids and teens will be encouraged to explore their own interests and have fun reading and learning all summer with free books and activity booklets for every participant, plus hands-on programs across the system. Families can find resources on the library website, track reading progress via an app, and visit branches for prizes as kids complete learning activities. The summer activity booklet for young children will be available in both English and Spanish. Free meals and snacks will be available at eligible locations in partnership with UMC Food Ministries. This effort is fully funded by the federal government. The library's homework help program is now at 13 branches, and in April, Groesbeck and Northside will restart services, which will continue through the summer months. Over 1,870 homework sessions have taken place since the beginning of this year alone. With adult learning, in-person appointments and walk-in customers have increased by 51% over this past year. During February and March, over 1,140 customers attended an adult learning center virtual class. For virtual events, we have Shades of the Arab World coming up on April 23rd, and another event on April 25th, The British Invasion and the American Answer, a musical journey, which will be held at the Montfort Heights branch via Zoom. With marketing, we intend to implement another awareness campaign in fall of 2021, but we paused due to the uptick of COVID-19 cases. A new campaign will be launched on April 4th during National Library Week and is currently airing on a variety of platforms, including Cincinnati Bell, OTT, YouTube, digital outdoor, digital displays, which are website ads, social displays, specifically on Facebook and Instagram, streaming radio such as Pandora, Spotify, SoundCloud, Audiology. And similar to the 2020's campaign, to get the most reach, we're targeting families in the Cincinnati DMA, excluding Cincinnati Bell numbers. This mix could deliver over 2,185,000 impressions over the 6-week run. And the theme is 41 neighborhood branches, one place for minds of all kind. The intent is to increase physical traffic at all of our locations through this campaign. And with that, I will turn it back to the chair.
All right, we will move to the next report, which is the technology report. Mr. Olson.
Thank you, Karen. This is from Holbrook Sample, the Chief Technology and Logistics Officer at the library. Local Administrator Password Solutions, acronym LAPS. IT has added another layer of protection against cyber attacks. LAPS randomizes the passwords that gain higher level access to computers and makes passwords unique to each device. These are for passwords that IT staff uses for administrator access to computers across the network. For example, if a computer services technician needs to add software to another staff member's computer, they use a temporary password at the administrator level. This prevents password theft where someone could gain access to other devices. And then the Story Center, Genealogy and Local History Department, GLH. When the downtown Main Library South Building reopens, the Genealogy and Local History, GLH department, will be located at the top of the social stair on the second floor. Hosted in this new location will be the Story Center. That sounds like fun. Discovering stories of families and local history have long been celebrated services of GLH and digital services. With the Story Center, we aim to record and provide access to a broader range of voices in multiple formats from communities across the region, connecting people, their words, their pictures, and documents through rich sound and visual recording, storage, access, and display. And that will build on the traditions of GLH and digital services for a new, more inclusive and forward-looking service. And that ends that report. Turning it back over to you, Ms. Clemens.
All right, thank you, Mr. Olson. We will now go to our development report. Ms. Diane is going to report in place of Monica.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Clemens. This report's informational only. And this is from Stacy Dennison, Chief Development Officer. Development Office, the library has been the grateful recipient of several gifts since February, including a sizable bequest distribution. The project team working on the State Library of Ohio's Metadata Mini Grant has successfully completed its work and the requirements of the project, digitizing 251 tapes of the Newsmaker video collection. The Library Foundation. Since February, the Library Foundation has been the grateful recipient of several significant gifts as follows: Duke Energy Foundation for Discover Summer, the Sarah and James Goldman Charitable Fund, Kroger Community Rewards, Ann C. Regan for Deer Park, and David J. Yee for Norwood. Several additional applications for funding have been submitted and are being reviewed.
Sylvia?
The Foundation Spring Campaign is underway, which coincides with National Library Week. The goals of this year's campaign are to increase branch-specific support through Befriend a Branch giving. Results of the campaign will be reported at the next board meeting. That ends the report. Turning it back over to you, Ms. Clemens.
Thank you, Diane.
Thanks.
But next, we're going to do a vote for approval of the consent items, correct?
That's right. We need a motion and a second for that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And lastly, a motion to adjourn with a vote to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you
Go
all.
Reds.